everyone, I am here to talk about breastfeeding. I do have little one around as well. She's going to be pottering and playing while I do this video, so hopefully there's a nice cuddle. Hopefully she will be quite quiet, I doubt it, and hopefully you can hear what I'm saying and she is going to behave herself. Are you going to behave? Say hi, Aria. Say hi. Hiya. You going to say it? Say hiya. No, camera shy. Da da da. So anyway, here we go. Okay, let's start with my breastfeeding story. Aria is 11 months nearly, and she is pretty exclusively breastfed. We do throw in a few bottles. Sometimes she has a bottle at bedtime. If I can't get her down, it helps to settle her because we've only just started transitioning from my bed into hers, so it helps with that. She sometimes has a bottle when we go in the car if she's particularly grumpy because it stops her from screaming, and I haven't quite managed to master the whole boob flip over the shoulder into the back seat. They're not quite there yet, although more children down the line they possibly could be, who knows. So yes, she is my first breastfed baby. I've got Ellora who's 3, and we breastfed for about a week, and then for me it all went wrong and I reverted to bottle. I'd just like to say now that I am very much fed is best. We all know the whole breast is best, and we all know the benefits to breastfeeding, but at the end of the day, a fed baby is the best way. A full tummy is a happy baby, isn't it? Especially when they're growing. So yes, so let's go through my tips for breastfeeding mothers. Number 1 is to get your support in place. Support is a huge one for me, and I think it's the reason that I actually succeeded this time round. I had an amazing health visitor, and she would drop everything to come round to see me when I was having problems with breastfeeding, and she would just sit with me, help me reposition, and really talked me through everything and didn't just do it for me. So she was a brilliant help, and quite possibly the reason we're still going so strong. Yeah. With Ellora I didn't have that. Yes, I didn't have that support in place. You are so noisy, they're not going to be able to hear what I'm saying. What's this? As you can see, she now wants feeding. So yes, with Ellora I didn't have that support in place. My health visitor wasn't great at the time, and I was kind of just left to it, and that really wasn't the best way. I didn't know what I was doing, and it was awful. I struggled. I got mastitis, I got a lump, which was a cyst, and it was just hard. It really was hard, and being hormonal and that at the time with no support and no help, I couldn't do it, and I reverted to the bottle. So yes, support is definitely so important. If, like me, you struggle and you haven't got health visitor midwives on side, there is other places you can get support from. Facebook is a wonderful thing now, and there is so much you can find on Facebook. There is groups and support groups for absolutely everything mother-wise. I would definitely get on some support sites because there is someone about all the time. You will find that you put something on at 3 o'clock in the morning, there is somebody there to help you. I've also found now that I think there is breastfeeding support lines that you can ring, possibly through the NHS. I can't remember now, I just remember it being in my pack when Aria was born. That's something new, and I never used it myself, but I can imagine that could also be another line of help that would be brilliant. And also you will find that there's possibly support groups around you, led in baby centres, or even just halls of mums getting together and all with a common demeanour. And I mean, if you've got a mum that's breastfed their 3 babies, they're going to be able to help you a bit, or there could be someone there that offers some sort of support, peer supporters I think they're called. So yeah, I would definitely get to one of those if you haven't got healthcare professionals to support you. My tip number 2 is don't go in naive. It hurts. For the first 3 weeks it is very, 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 very painful, and it is hard at that point. Your hormones are all over the show. Your baby is feeding on you constantly because in essence they're putting in their order for how much milk they want. So they're trying to bring your milk through, put order in for what they want, and it just feels like they're feeding all the time. So you're tired. Like I said, your hormones are all over the show anyway, and it hurts. It really, really does. And I didn't realise how much it was going to hurt when I had Ellora, and I think that made it a lot easier to throw the towel in because of the pain, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was clueless. And with Aria, I knew it was going to hurt this time. I was full aware of it. No one really tells you it's going to hurt. So yeah, I stuck my heels and knew it was going to hurt, knew that I would get through it, and I did. So yes, but be prepared. Following on from that, my tip number 3 would be to get some nipple creams in. I think it's Laniso, but I'm sure it's Laniso or something along those lines. It's in a little purple tube. That's great. That is the best stuff I found anyway, and it's just amazing, and I used a lot of it just in those initial weeks, just because it does help ease it. They get sore. Yeah, use a lot of it and it's quite natural. Baby can feed off of it straight after you've put on, if they decided that they wanted to feed 10 minutes after, which quite happened to me quite a lot. So yes. My tip number 4 would be latch. Get your latch right. If you are in any way worried about your latch, if you think you're getting a lot of pain, get it checked. There is always someone about who can check it, and it's so important to get it right. It will help the pain subside quicker, because what essentially you want to do is be getting as much as your boob into the baby's mouth as possible. You want the whole nipple in, and you want to get as much as the areola in as possible. The baby has the hard palate at the front and then a softer palate at the back, and you don't want your nipple hitting that hard palate. You want it to the back and hitting the soft palate. They make out that babies take it up very naturally, but a lot of babies don't, and there's lots of things that can also affect latch, like tongue tie is really common now, and it could possibly be that your baby needs its tongue tie sorted and then is going to latch okay after then. So yes, make sure you get your latch sorted. My tip number 5 would be, if you don't succeed first time, keep on trying. Although it is very hard sometimes to do that, it isn't as easy as clicking your fingers, it's done. I mean, possibly is for some people, and they are very, very lucky, but the majority it isn't. And there are lots of different ways that you can try feeding, or even if you completely can't feed, there is other alternatives such as pumping. You could pump and feed your baby still breast milk, but not straight from your boob. I know a lady actually that is doing that at the minute, and it's going quite well for her. So yeah, there's other alternatives, and if it is something you want to do, keep going at it. My tip number 6 would be reusable breast pads. Oh, brilliant! I didn't find them straight away, but I find that the disposable ones are quite itchy unless you buy the really expensive ones, and they cost an arm and a leg, the better ones. All the own brands I used to find itchy, didn't hold much. So yeah, the reusable ones are great. I don't know if anyone's seen the reusable ones. You can get all types. Etsy is a good place to get them. Or you can order them from all sorts of, I can't think, who have I got? Little Lambs or something like that. But anyway, there's loads of different types out there, all different price ranges. But although it's a bit not a big expense, but a bigger expense at the beginning. I mean, they're great. You chuck them in the machine, you use them again, and they are so comfortable. You don't feel like you're wearing anything, and they hold a lot of liquid. So yes, I would definitely thumbs up for reusable breast pads. I still wear them now because I don't know, my boobs have always leaked. I think some people stop leaking after like so many months, but mine don't. So yes, we still use reusable pads now, and yes, definitely a thumbs up from me. My next tip would be don't be afraid to give the bottle, whether that be by pumping or giving extra formula possibly. Ideally you don't want to be doing it for the first 6 weeks if you are trying to feed from the breast, only because if you are pumping you are telling your body to produce more than what the baby needs, and if you don't keep up with that pumping then you could lead to giving yourself mastitis, engorgement, blocked ducts, that sort of thing, and that's painful in itself, and could need medical treatment. So ideally if you are looking to feed from the breast you want to leave it for the first 6 weeks, but after then don't be afraid to top up with either breast milk from the bottle or formula. We done breast milk from the bottle for possibly the first, I think it was probably the first 4 or 5 months, and then after that I thought I don't like expressing. She has very little from the bottle and I don't mind giving her a bit of formula instead. Expressing for me was time consuming, I didn't enjoy it, it meant that it wasn't for me. Lots of people do express and get on fine with it, but for me it wasn't, so I just switched to formula for those extra bottles that I needed. If we go out and someone looks after her, very rarely, doesn't happen often, then I am fine with them giving her formula. It doesn't bother me. Possibly some people are very anti that, but I don't care. Number 8, be prepared to have your boobs beaten black and blue. I have had the worst bruises from breastfeeding. You get love bites. You get love bites on your boobs from your baby, and they don't necessarily hurt, but they look horrific. And then also fingernails are the best, not the best at all. They tend to like scratch at you when they're feeding, and oh my gosh, it hurts. I look like I've had like noughts and crosses or something played on me majority of the time. Mitts when they're tiny are great for when feeding. Now she's older, I try holding her hand, giving her something to play with. It works momentarily, but she does still scratch, or I pull my top down enough that she can't quite get to it. But yes, be prepared. It hurts too. Number 9, if you start getting any pain feeding, there is pain. It is not supposed to be painful. If you get lumps, pains, especially anything running up to your nipple, it could be nothing, or it could be the start of mastitis. And I personally think that the sooner you get to the doctors and the sooner you get it treated, the less less like disruption it's going to cause you, because it does happen. Quite a few people actually do get mastitis from feeding, well, that I know anyway, so I'm guessing it's quite a common thing that happens. Doesn't mean you're doing it wrong, it just possibly could mean that the baby has decided they want to, well, this is what happened with Aria anyway. She would feed and feed and feed, build my supply right up, and then we'd go through a dip and she'd decide, oh, I don't want to feed that much, and I'd have all this extra supply that I didn't want to pump off because I wanted it to slow down with her. And there was a couple times where it was just too much of a big transition and I did get mastitis. You get flu-like symptoms. It is not very nice. You get tired. The best thing to do though is rest, and I found getting your antibiotics. Again, some people do the massage and wait it out, but I just think unnecessary pain. You may as well get in, get it sorted, get out, and that way you don't have to slow down too much for your baby and it doesn't take too much out of you. My tip number 10 and the last one is, if you try it and it isn't for you, please don't feel guilty about stopping. I spent a lot of time after having Ellora feeling guilty that I'd stopped. I'd see other mums feeding and think I really wish that I'd have stuck to it and carried on. And it's silly really. She is happy, she is fine. There is no need to feel guilty. If it's not for you, it's not for you. It is the most important thing that your baby is fed. It really doesn't matter how. It is your choice, your life, your baby's life. It is no one else's. People will pipe up and have opinions, but just ignore it all because it really doesn't matter. Yes. Oh, and I would just like to say that I also had a lot of guilt when I decided that I was going to breastfeed Aria because I didn't breastfeed Ellora, and that stuck with me for a while, the guilt of breastfeeding one and not the other. But I have to say now, it just seems a bit silly really, doesn't it? Ellora is in no way affected that she was bottle fed and that Aria was breastfed. So okay, I think that's just about everything from us. I hope you enjoyed the video. If I can help in any other ways with breastfeeding, please let me know if you want any other videos to do with it. Yeah? Yeah? You like breastfeeding, don't you? This is your type of video, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, well that's everything from us then. Please give me a like and please subscribe. Okay, thank you for watching everyone. Bye.